How's it going? It's Jeff the IT Guy. On today's episode of Making Pre-Builts Better, we're going to take the Lenovo Legion that we did a review of, and we are going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to change the power supply in it. The power supply that we're going to go with is the Seasonic GX550. This is a 550 watt, 80 plus gold, fully modular power supply, and it's going to work well in this. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a Lenovo Legion, you're going to need this power supply, and of course, you're going to need an iFixit kit or some form of toolkit, but you want this one. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you've got the front panel off. It's 2 thumb screws, and the rear panel off. Okay, so go ahead, take these panels off, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to unplug things that you see. So for example, right here, this is the daughter board for like the RGB and stuff. As you can see, there's several RGB headers on here. Okay, so go ahead and pull that off. This is just a regular SATA connection. Okay. And then here you've got another one, and these are just little tabs. Right here you're going to see there's 2 SATA cables here that are connected to something. I don't know what they're connected to, but they're connected to something. We'll figure out what it is. These are going to be for, these are for the hot swap base. This is the hard drive hot swaps. So go ahead, unplug those. You've unplugged this SATA cable. Go ahead, get it out of the way. Okay, make note of where you're unplugging stuff. Make sure that you're, being easy when you unplug this. You don't want to go ahead and rip stuff. So once you get these cables here disconnected, you can go ahead and flip it over and we'll disconnect some stuff from the front. So here it is on the front. I'm going to lay it down its side. All right, so here we are. What you need to do is take note of where everything is plugged in. You've got this power connector here on your GPU. You need to go ahead and get it. Okay, then you got the 24 pin right here. Make sure that you go ahead and take it out. Okay. And then you've got the 8 pin up here in the top. It might be hard for you to see, but you've got that one. Go ahead and take that out. And up along the top here, you're actually going to have some tabs that helps with cable management. So go ahead and uncable manage this. Be careful, like I said, you don't want to rip anything out. Okay, and then all you need to do is pull these out from the other side. So I'm going to flip it over. They're all, right here. So go ahead, pull them out real easy, be gentle, Like I said, the last thing that you want to do is damage anything. You might have to stick your hand around to help you maneuver, but just go ahead. See, and everything's going to come right out. Just be easy with it, Okay. Use the cable management that's provided. Kind of pull everything out. Okay. Being easy with it. Oh, sorry, that's probably not a good angle for you. Here we go. Okay. And so this is actually all of the cabling, okay, that we need to worry about. So just go ahead and do that. Okay. I don't even know what that goes to. That must be Wi-Fi. Okay. Once you do that, go ahead, get your screwdriver out from your handy dandy iFixit kit if that's what you have. If not, get one. Simple as that. And then you're going to want to unscrew the power supply, which is right here. And so you can do it this way like I'm doing it. Just be careful to hold on to the bottom. You don't want it to fall out. So just make sure that you're holding it in. It will just slide to the side and it will slide out. It's got its own little holder in here to hold it in. So let me show you what that looks like. Right here. It's got this little This little doohickey at the bottom. It's this little bracket. Go ahead and unscrew it. It is below the power supply. Or below, yeah, beside the power supply. You can just go ahead, unscrew that. And that actually helps to hold in the power supply. Okay. Then you can just kind of wiggle it loose. Don't be too hard on it. With this, if you pull it forward, it actually comes out. Okay. Then now you can start to pull your power supply out. You want to be easy with it, even though I'm not being super easy. Let me readjust the camera here. All right, so all you want to do is just pull it out right here. Make sure, you know, it's not sitting on any cables or anything. Okay. And just easily, you know, push these through. And then, boom, your power supply is out. So there you go. There's the power supply out. As you can see, now all we need to do is open up our new one. Here. As you can see, this is going to fit in quite nicely. I mean, you're not going to be able to put like a 1600 watt in here, so make sure that you get sort of a smaller one. You know, you don't want to get a massive power supply. That bad boy. It's a nice looking power supply, isn't it? And we're actually going to put it in face up like this, so that the fan in it gets air. You know, we don't want it to suffocate. So we'll just go ahead, we'll set it in, push this little bracket into place, and we'll screw it back in. This is going to help hold the power supply in place. Okay, so that's going to help hold it into place. And then inside of your box, you're going to have cables. They're going to come in 2 plastic bags, as you can see. Okay, now the cables that you need, if you're doing this stock like we are, okay, you're going to need your 24 pin. Okay, so set that aside. You're going to need your CPU, which is an 8 pin. And then you're going to need one VGA, or one PCIe. You're just going to need one of those. And you're going to need one SATA, which is in this other bag. So you're only going to need 4 cables. You might need 5. Depends on how many SATA connectors are on one of these cables. If you've got one that's got 3 on it, which this one does, we're going to use it, because that's all we need. So boom, 4 cables. It's pretty good, right? Go ahead and move your box out of the way. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in and then run them. We're going to plug our cables in and then run them. And what I mean by run them is just push them through and all that good stuff. Now, this 24 pin, it might be a little bit tricky, but it'll be all right. Now, if you want to be real smart, you can put these cables in before you put the power supply in, which is what you should do, instead of trying to do it like me. Yeah. I thought I had enough room. I clearly did not. It happens. So let's take it back out. It's not that big of a deal. Just take it out. Make sure you plug in your cables. They're labeled for you, so your motherboard is going to have a 20 and a 4. So let's go ahead. It comes in 2 slots. Just boom, boom. Okay, then you're going to have one that's for CPU. Your cables say that it's CPU, and plug it in to where it'll say like CPU or PS or PCIe. Just plug it in there, and then do the other one for your SATA. Now the great thing about this is that for now, you don't have to run that many cables, but you've got room to grow. If that's what you want to do, if you want to grow. If you don't want to grow, then you don't have to worry about it. So just shove them through this grommet back here, this cable management grommet. Try and keep them, I guess, somewhat tidy. All you have to do is just get them through to where you can pull them through. And then put your power supply back in, which I didn't do the first time. I didn't put the cables in. And then it'll go in, and you're going to have barely enough room to put this little bracket back on. Now, you don't have to put this bracket on. You don't. So if you can't get to it, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to go in. It's just there to help. And if you've got smaller fingers than I do, you'll actually be able to put the cables in after you do that. But that's going to help hold it in. And then turn it around. Okay. Pull those cables through. Make sure you're, a little bit delicate with it. I mean, don't get too wild. But just make sure that you've, pulled as much as you can, because on some of these you're going to need the slack. Just go ahead, pull it as much as you can. There we go. All right, now, once all of your cables have come through with slack, find out where they need to go. This one here, this is CPU, which means it's going to go up here, and hope that it is long enough. It might not be. If not, we'll fix that. Don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead, put it through. Being delicate here. Put your hand on the other side to make sure that, you're feeling around for wires, cables, stuff like that. If you need to, take a look to see what you're doing. Like I am. Okay. Just pull it through. You can even try and cable management right here. But this is one of the lay flat ones. Don't have to worry about it. So you just boom, done. Okay. The next one that we're going to do is this big old 24 pin. It goes right here. Okay. Let's go ahead, put that in. I unplugged something, that's fine, I'll plug it back in. Happens. Okay, the next one that we're going to push through is the PCIe. You don't have to worry about too much about it, it just goes right here. Goes right there. You can push it through right on top of the cage here. Oh, it won't go right through there. It'll go through right here though. It's a good place for it to go through, right there. There's a little hole, okay? And then the last thing that we're left with, if you're keeping count, is the SATA cable. So you can go ahead and plug it into this daughter board here. It'll only go one way. So go ahead and plug it in there. This is a little it's a stiff connector. It's not wanting to go. There we go. It'll pop right into place. And the next two are your for your hard drives. Those will just go right into place as well. Let's snap in. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay, and then the next thing you really need to do is just try and cable management. This right here already. And so you'll notice over here there are these little brackets. You can go ahead and put cables in right here. Okay. And this will help you to manage them. So there we go. Boom. And now all you need to do is turn it over and plug stuff in. All right, so I'm gonna flip it on its side, or on its rear here, and get a better camera angle. So now, it's just time to plug stuff in. So if you noticed, I knocked this loose earlier, and it goes right here. It's labeled, can't miss it. Okay. All right. Then you just take this connector here, plug it in. That is your 24 pin. Here is your 8 pin and 6 pin for your GPU. Boom, done. And then make sure you get everything else connected. You may notice that there are some things disconnected. It does happen, but hey, you know, that's part of building, right? They're labeled, they only go in one way, so it's not that big of a deal. Just reroute this CPU cable just a little bit better. Okay. And then it goes right here at the top. Now, if you'll notice, this CPU cable is just a little bit short. Just a little bit shorter, not short, shorter than the other one. And so it's not going to be as well cable managed, but hey, that's the price you pay for power. Am I right? Okay, and it goes right in right there. And then you can use these little cable management here to handle your other cables. Just push them in like so. And there you go. Now, you've pretty much got everything put in. The only thing that's left to do is to screw in the power supply on the bottom here. All you gotta do is screw this in. 4 screws. And you're done. You don't even have to do all 4 screws if you don't want to. You can do like 2, you can do 3. It's up to you, really. Okay. Sometimes it takes just a little bit more torque than what the little screwdriver can provide. No big deal, easy peasy. Boom. And there you go. After that, you have successfully, I will add, successfully change the power supply in your Legion. And you might be saying, Jeff, bro, you went from 400 watts to 550. You're right, I did. But that's just because this is what I had. There are other power supplies that you can put in here if you can find them. It's about this size. You know, 550 watt, that's of gold. That's a lot of power. You know, that's a good place to be. That's going to allow us to change the motherboard and put us in a 10600K liquid water cooler as opposed to non-liquid, an AIO, and overclock it. Now, this might be tricky. All right. One of the things about this cable, these cables here, is it's big. This may not close. Update. This cable is too thick to fit behind the motherboard. It's a tragedy. I know, it is a tragedy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put it out from behind the back panel here. There's just not enough room. The other cables, they are called they're called lay flat cables. They are meant to get really tiny and, you know, be able to go through here or whatever. So let's go ahead and push this back through. I will say I was very shocked that the Omen would handle cables. This will not. So go ahead, lay it back down. Plug this goofy cable in, whatever it belongs to. Okay. And you'll notice in here, there are cable ties inside of here. So you can actually do this and make it look good still. So, boom. There are cable ties inside the case, so you can actually take it, run it like this. Get you a good shot of that. See how that's running down here? Like this. You can run it along, and there are cable tie points, and you can actually use zip ties that come with the power supply and run it to where it still looks clean like this. So you got a lot of options there. You can make this run cleaner as well if you wanted to. There's room to do it as well. And so now the back panel should close. Should go on. Okay, back panel, meet back of motherboard, back of computer. There you go, goes on. Just fine. So you can go ahead, you can screw it back on and everything. You're good to go. And you can just leave it in the front there, use some cable ties, and you're good to go. Listen, thanks for watching. On the next episode, I'm going to show you all how to, I don't know what I'll show you. I'm either going to replace the motherboard or show you how to replace the cooler. We may just do it all at once though. And we're going to be putting in the MSI Z490 and a 10600K in this thing. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and subscribe. You won't want to miss that. If you've liked this video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. And keep it real. And come on back, subscribe. Subscribe. Keep it real, guys.